In sleep he sang to me.
In dreams he came.
That voice which calls to me
and speaks my name.
And do I dream again?
For now I find
The Phantom of the Opera is there.
inside my mind.
Sing once again with me
Our strange duet.
My power over you
Grow stronger, yes. I know you turn from me
To glance behind.
The Phantom of the Opera is there. Inside your mind.
Those who have seen your face
Draw back in fear.
I am the mask you wear. It's me they hear.
Your spirit and my voice
In one combined.
the Phantom of the Opera is there.
inside your mind.
The Phantom of the Opera. Beware the Phantom of the Opera.
in all your fantasy.
you always knew.
That man and mystery were both in you. And in this labyrinth,
When night is blind.
the Phantom of the Opera is there.
Inside my mind.
Is there the Phantom of the Opera?
Save it. All right. Yo, bitches, that was fun.
The main thing is that the film is set in Paris in 1870, but it can't be, it's not what I call a V&A naturalistic representation of the period, because it's a musical, and the music is not of the period anyway. So it has to, really the biggest challenge has been finding a visual style to create this world, which the story is a stomping great love story.
Let me be your freedom. Let daylight dry your tears. I'm here with you, beside you, to guard you and to guide you.
The costumes are all heightened. The most naturalistic are the stage crew, the stage workers. Those are the truest to real life, but the the opera company and the singers and the managers, they are all heightened out of true years.
Costume designer Alexandra Burns' credits include Elizabeth and Finding Neverland, but the scale of Phantom and the sheer numbers of people to be dressed present a daunting task.
I think designing on Phantom has been a particular challenge. Normally a film script has 1 or 2 challenges in it. Phantom has 3 operas, 2 ballets, and a masquerade, and a storyline. So there's an amazing range where one has to keep the balance in order to be able to develop something new, to keep the look fresh.
Floating, falling, sweet intoxication. Touch me, trust me, savor each sensation. Let the dream begin, let your darker side give in to the power of the music that I write. The power of the music of the
And also, I think more so in this film, the scale has changed. It goes from being a 2-handed love duet to a huge set piece, again and again and again, right through the film. So it's keeping an eye on the balance of the visuals has been very hard.
I think her first film was Elizabeth, and as an ex-costume designer myself, although hardly ever in the same league as Alexandra, because she's a great artist, you know, Elizabeth I in England is a particularly unsexy period for women, and if you remember the film, she made it lusty and busty and gusty, and that's all Alex. And she has a very contemporary and very unusual approach to costume, sort of from the inside out, and I loved that.
Initially, I'd start in discussions with Joel and we talk about the character. And then I do large A2 reference pages, as many as required for the character and for the feel of the character. And I tend not to actually draw, because if you draw it, I find that that's all you get, that is the end of the road. Whereas with these reference pages, everybody works from them, everybody has different ideas, and it grows, so that in a way I become almost like an editor of everybody's ideas, from the maker to the cutter to the actor, makeup artist, director. Everybody reads it differently, and so it keeps it moving and it keeps growing, it keeps developing. And then the other main factor that comes in is fabric, because obviously you can have all the ideas in the world, but if you've got nothing to make it in, it doesn't happen.
You
up in the air with the old dress.
do know there's several lines in 15.
Yes, I know. And also obviously the casting. You have all your ideas, and then you have the casting. So the feel of somebody, their character, their look, their proportion, their colouring, that has a lot to do with it.
We'll be parted forever. He won't let me go.
Christine was the most challenging to achieve, because it's got to work in so many different ways. She's got to be the romantic lead, she's got to be innocent, she's got to be young, she's got to be beautiful, but there's also got to be development in her story. The main difficulty with Christine is that we see her once in her own clothes in the chapel scene.
He'll always be there singing songs in my head.
Obviously Carlotta was great fun because she's such a large character, and casting Minnie for me was fantastic because I'm 5'11", she's 5'10". I find working with very small actresses terrifying, so her clothes were very easy, I could understand the scale.
And play back.
Shame, shame, shame. Something in the skies is perfect. Oh, why bold can this be?
Alex Byrne and I, there's a little advantage there because we've become friends. since Elizabeth, and so it's easy to discuss things.
Obviously I work with Jenny Shercourt very closely because the hair and makeup, that's the face in the clothes, so if they're not working together it tends to look like somebody wearing funny clothes as opposed to a whole being.
I go to all her fittings, and likewise she comes to ours. So if we're designing a makeup or a hairstyle, she'll be there to see how her costumes and what we're doing works well together. Joel's been fascinating to work with. He has got such a vision. It's amazing. And I think whenever he makes comment on whatever you're doing, he's always right. He sees it. He sees something and he sees it ahead of time. And he has got a very, very positive vision in his head. So he knows what he's after. The wigs of that period are big. So we went big. And Minnie Driver's wig is very, very tall, and Victor, who plays Piangi, his wig is very wide, and all the backstage people have got the white powdered wigs on. But we didn't follow any particular references. We made up quite a lot of it. It's got 3 operas in it, big masked ball, and then the real life people. So from a makeup point of view, costume point of view, sets point of view, it's very exciting, and there are lots of different things to do. And it's, you know, from beginning to end, you're creating one look for a particular opera, and then while we're shooting that, you're on to the next, planning the next, creating the next look. So it doesn't stand still for a second, it just moves on all the time.
Two, take one.
Y tus trailers, visita mi canal.
Okay, settle. And action.
Think of me fondly when we've said goodbye. Remember me once in a while, please promise me you'll try. When you find that once again you long to take your heart back and be free, if you ever find a moment, spare a thought for me. We never said our love was evergreen or as unchanging as the sea, but if you can still remember, stop and think of me. Think of all the things we've shared and seen. Don't think about the things which might have been. Think of me waking silent and resigned. Imagine me trying too hard to put you from my mind. Recall those days, look back at all those times. Think of the things we'll never do. There will never be a day when I won't think of you. We never said our love was evergreen or as unchanging as the sea, but please promise me that sometimes you will think
The film's production design is by Tony Pratt, whose career spans 40 years from 2001: A Space Odyssey to Band of Brothers, with an Oscar nomination for Hope and Glory along the way.
So this is the Hannibal set, which is one of our cod operas. This over here represents a fake waterfall which has been built and operated by a roller, and we'll see people doing that when they're in a preliminary rehearsal and so on. And we're trying to make efforts to make this absolutely as they would have built this set in the 1870s, so it'll make use of all their techniques with sort of gauzes, and they just about had plies, so we're using that, and that represents the sort of the basic scheme for it from the beginning, which is her sort of singing outside Rome. This one is Il Muto, which is like Cod's sort of Mozartian setting.
Shame, shame, shame.
Seraphim, your disguise is perfect. Why, who can this be?
This is our third one, which shows the glade, which is after us like a Watteau-esque sort of thing with the people on a swing, and the shepherdesses with 2 real sheep.
Come on, Bessie, folks, be quiet and someone else.
Is this it, Tina?
And this one is Don Juan, where at the end the Phantom takes Christine and dives down into the pit, which coincides with the deep pit we have on the stage. And that's meant to be like Don Juan in hell, so that's going to be very red. Then we come on to the cemetery, which is actually going to be done in about 3 different stages. It's going to be very stylized, covered with snow, and making use of large monuments. Then we'll have extensive cutouts and painted backings showing the cemetery going off into the distance.
The graveyard, the setting for Christine's mournful lament wishing you were somehow here again, as well as the sword fight between the Phantom and Raoul, is constructed entirely within a single sound stage at Pinewood Studios. Even the trees have to be assembled before being touched up with spray paint. The atmospheric winter setting is painstakingly recreated from the original designs. And when the set is finally complete, all that remains is for it to be covered in artificial snow.
There's some trees there, mate, to get over them things.
The sword fight itself takes hours of careful planning and rehearsing with stunt coordinator Greg Powell, and to ensure a minimum risk to the actors, stunt doubles are used for certain shots. But for other takes, there can be no trickery, and the actors must remain completely focused in order to avoid injury.
Then over here, we have the main foyer set where all the masquerade number takes place on this staircase, and a phantom appears at the top, and the dancers are swirling around down here.
This is the foyer, this is the main staircase up into the auditorium, you know, so we go up these stairs into the auditorium. All round here are mirrors, you know, mirrored doors and tiled floors.
The set must allow enough space for choreographer Peter Darling to bring the masquerade ball to life, whilst still retaining the opulence and splendour that Tony Pratt wants to recreate.
The foyer in the Garnier Opera House is absolutely extraordinarily impressive, but it depends on height largely. It's one of those very sort of perpendicular spaces. So of course we can't do that on the stage. We're very limited by only going up to a certain height. And as we weren't going to go into CGI and topping up on that one, I suppose that the task was to try and make it as interesting as possible up to the height of 34 feet or so. So we changed it quite considerably from the Garnier Opera House.
Keep reset, go again.
And we're also using that for the big office sequence between the two managers' office where they walk along this corridor backwards and forwards.
Who would have the gall to send this? Someone with a puerile brain. These are both signed G. Who the hell is he? Oh, for a ghost.
This is D stage, where we're basically building a layer. We've only just started in here about 1.5 weeks actually. This stage is basically flooded with water, asphalt on the floor to make it waterproof, and then there's a centre area here, over here, which we take up, which gives us another 8 foot deep. So the water will be about 10 foot deep, where the candelabras come up, you know. And this is the walls of the tank, really. All inside there will be flooded with water. This is the tank area round here, with my finger here, round here. And the deep area is here. This is the deep tank here. This will be tunnels round here, which is the ceiling over there of the tunnels. It comes up high. And this is all rocks, caves here, where the phantom lair is, you know, it lives down here.
The painstaking process of constructing the Phantom's lair takes weeks. But gradually it begins to take shape, and finally the finishing touches are added. Polystyrene becomes granite, plaster becomes rock, a rail is welded together to guide the Phantom's boat. The last coats of paint are applied, and the set is flooded with millions of gallons of water. Each candle is individually lit, and at last the scene is ready to shoot.
Always from the beginning I felt that it should be, and I think Joel Schumacher obviously felt the same, that it should be you know, to a certain extent large for life and stylized, and you know, I always use the thing in a sense that you should never be able to build anything be done on location. Right? Everything should look as if it's been designed for the film, as it were. And if it looks as it's been done on location, it's not. One could have gone to a location. So my main object now is to try and make it all the interiors and exterior look like something you couldn't actually find.
Set construction is a huge task. 72 tons of steel, 51 miles of scaffolding, 92 miles of timber, and 15,000 litres of paint are used. A construction team of 200 people spend 6 months working across 8 sound stages to bring Tony Pratt's designs to life. Perhaps the most important being the interior of the Opera House itself.
In Pinewood, in the old library, they had about 3 huge folio books of opera houses, and so I spent really like a weekend sifting through them and trying to work out something which would suit this, you know. And there are the various different types. There are types of balconies supported by pillars. There are types like here where you have a sort of booths, and I thought the booths were very good for this because they enable you to have very interesting statuary sort of in between the booths. Joel Schumacher, who has a big background anyway in design and costume and sets. The first thing he said, I want the theatre to be sexy, you know, and he'd seen, I think, some statues in a palace theatre in London where there are a couple of ladies holding their arms outstretched underneath a box and things. And so, you know, we worked very much on that thing to get all these figures into it, and then the sort of vaguely, you know, female sort of submission sort of thing, because the nature of Christine and so on.
The theater, the way Tony Pratt designed it and the way we conceived it, it's really like a voluptuous woman. It's a very beautiful Baroque theater with beautiful nudes all over it. It is a voluptuous creature.
The interior of the Opera Populaire is almost complete, and it's hard to believe that such a beautiful construction will be torn down again in just a matter of weeks. But for now, all that remains is to bring the auditorium to life by filling it with nearly 900 people and lighting it for an evening performance.
Having made the decision that we were going to build our opera house, logically it means you have to build everything. And frankly, the quality of the build that you get in this country, in the UK, is second to none. You only have to look around at the sets that we've constructed and the finishes on them. They really are magnificent. And so the decision to build in the UK, although more expensive than elsewhere in the world, was a simple one, really.